शेरवानी गैर खानी कर रहा अपने लोग की बात साथ रह के साथ खा के अपने वाले करते घात डरे हैं मुझसे क्योंकि आवाज अपनी ऊंची है काफी रिश्ते काट डाले जैसे अपन कैची है मतलब ही मिलना चाहते मुझे पता है इन्हें क्या चाहिए ऊंची बातचीत इसलिए गाने मेरे कैची है ये सिर्फ आएंगे करेंगे अपना टाइम वेस्ट मेहनत किए बिना इनको करने का है लाइफ चेंज ये भागे जिधर है पैसा और खेले माइंड गेम्स फेक फ्लेक्स फेक टॉक not my range नहीं चाहिए किसकी मेहरबानी
ที่ปรึกษาแค่เพื่อนสนิทเธออาจไม่คิดมากเกินจนเลยไปอย่างฉันแต่เหมือนว่าในบางครั้งที่เธอจ้องมองฉันคล้ายว่าเธอจะต้องการเป็นมากกว่านั้นแต่ฉันก็เป็นแค่เพื่อนคนหนึ่งซึ่งภายในใจนั้นสับสนและยังมีคำถามโอ้โอ้อยากจะรู้เพียงทำไมมีเขาแล้วเราจะรักกันไหมหรือแค่ตัวฉันคนเดียวที่คิดฝันไปจนไกลแสนไกลว่าเธอนั้นให้ความหวังอยากจะรู้แค่เพียงถ้าจบกับเขาแล้วเราจะรักกันไหมอยากปล่อยให้ฉันเฝ้ารอและคิดฝันไปคนเดียวเรื่อยไปถ้าเธอนั้นไม่ต้องการอย่าให้ฉันคิดไปเองอย่าให้ฉันคิดไปเองอยากจะอย่าให้ฉันคิดไปเองอยากจะ
After watching this video, you will have all the tools you need to start streaming using Streamlabs Desktop to Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, or any other platform with the best settings, widgets, graphic overlays, and more. To get this started, you're going to want to head over to Streamlabs.com. Once the program is finished installing, go ahead and select Finish, and it'll launch Streamlabs Desktop. And the first thing that you'll be brought to is a page for you to log in with your account. You can log in using a Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or other type of account. Make sure that you allow Streamlabs to connect to that account, and then from there, you'll be brought back to the Streamlabs Desktop application where you'll be presented with your layout editor. To give you guys a quick tour around Streamlabs Desktop, let's first start off on the left side where you're going to see this arrow icon that's pointing right. Click on that and that will expand the left side panel where you're going to see at the top application specific customization features such as the editor where you can modify the layout of what your stream command center looks like. You can also enable studio mode in this section, which is great to do in case you want to modify some of your scenes or sources while you're already live and you don't want your viewers to see what you're currently in the middle of trying to fix or build. We'll keep that off for now. Below that, you have your themes, which is a collection of free and paid for themes that Streamlabs Desktop offers that you can use to add some character or further customization to the look of your stream. You have the App Store for additional add-ons to the Streamlabs Desktop app, and then you have the highlighter feature, which is an editing option where you can add in or use clips that you've recorded out of Streamlabs Desktop to cut and edit together, then upload directly to YouTube. Below that, you have 3 Streamlabs links that you can check out. One is for Ultra, which is that's their premium paid for service that you can check out. You can access your dashboard from here, and then you have the Get Help link in case you need some further assistance. Next, you have the settings option where you can modify your video, audio, and stream settings. In the middle where you see this black space right now, that's where your scene is going to be presented with all of its objects or sources within it, which we'll show how to add in just a second. In this bottom panel is where you're going to have your scene. So you can have a scene for your gameplay, you can have a scene for starting, you can have a scene for showing your entire face cam or webcam. You're going to have sources within that scene to showcase what you're trying to present in that scene. Next to that, you're going to see your mixer, which is going to contain all of the different audio components or sources that you can monitor that are active within your stream. If you look a little bit further to the right, you're going to see an arrow that's pointing to the left. Click on this, and this is where your entire chat dialogue for your stream will show up. Now, if we go to the bottom panel, this is where we can test the alerts within our scenes to make sure that they're working the way that they're supposed to be. You can start and stop your recordings from here. To the right of that, this is where you can enable the replay buffer. And what is the replay buffer? Well, to put it simply, this is essentially a highlight clip recorder. So let's say you weren't recording the last 30 seconds of gameplay, but something really cool happened. With the replay buffer turned on, you can now capture that moment that you would have missed otherwise. Next to that, you have an option to schedule an upcoming future stream. And then to the right of that is your go live button to push your streams to whatever platform that you're planning to stream to. Looking all the way to the left-hand side on this bottom panel are going to be your computer performance statistics. So what's your CPU? What FPS are you pushing on your stream? This will also be the area where you'll see if you're dropping any frames or encountering any errors for your stream. Next, let's head over to our settings so that we make sure that these are right before we start building out any scenes or sources. The primary ones that I want to show you are first the stream section. So this is where you're going to have all of the different accounts that you plan on streaming to connected. Now, multi-streaming is not a free feature of Streamlabs Desktop, but at least you can select which platform you want to stream to. So just make sure you're logged into the accounts you ever plan on streaming to. If you want to go the custom route of using a stream key and a particular stream URL, let's say from Kick, for example, then you can go to the bottom here to select stream to custom ingest. For the stream type, you can change that to custom streaming server, and then you can put in that URL and that stream key to push to that special destination that don't have a service offering in Streamlabs Desktop. Next, let's check out the output tab, and this is where we can configure our settings for our stream. So I'm going to stick within the advanced mode here, and audio track, I'm good to keep that at 1, but for the encoder, I'm going to have my hardware encoder selected, which is going to be my dedicated graphics card on my computer. Now, I know not all of you guys probably have a dedicated graphics card, so if that's the case, you're going to want to use the X264 option, which is going to be your CPU. Rate control, I would keep that at CBR, which stands for constant bitrate. For the bitrate itself, I would do up to a 6,000 kilobit per second bit rate. You really don't want to go below the 3,000 mark because that'll start affecting the quality of your stream. But for places like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, you're going to be perfectly fine streaming up to a 6,000 kilobit per second bit rate. Just make sure that your internet is up to par, meaning that hopefully you have at least maybe a 10 megabit per second upload speed or higher. If you're experiencing network issues while you're streaming, you're going to want to lower your bit rate closer to that 3,000 mark. There's no need to use a custom buffer size. Below that, the keyframe interval, it's good to set this at 2. That's great for a lot of streaming platforms. For the CPU usage preset, if you're using the X264 option, of course, it's good just to keep this at very fast, or if your CPU is really good, you can set this to faster. But if your computer isn't so great, you're gonna wanna set this to super fast or ultra fast to alleviate the frame dropping issues. For your profile, to 60. If you like, you can also set some custom hotkeys, which is being able to select certain keys on your keyboard. Let's start adding some sources to our scene. So the first scene I have here, I'm actually gonna rename this and call it gameplay. To add a source, we just need to go to the right of sources and select the plus button. And this is where we're gonna get a whole catalog of sources directly from Streamlabs to add into our canvas here. And what's beautiful about Streamlabs Desktop is that it has almost all of the sources that you might need for your stream without having to add in any custom plugins or configurations like you have to do in OBS. So let's first take a look at the essential sources here. You have your media file source, which is great for adding videos, music, even graphics such as facecam overlays, or anything that has motion in it, which is usually a WebM file. If you're trying to add in plain or static images, then you're going to want to go with the image source instead of media file. One of the next essential sources is the video capture device source. This is where you can add in your facecam or gameplay, which we should do honestly because that's how I record my gameplay all the time with my capture card. Currently the webcam is selected, but what we're gonna do is actually select our capture card, the Live Gamer Extreme 3. Give that a second to pop up. There it is. There's really no other settings that I need to configure here. It's all good to go. And I'm gonna select close. And there's really no the web because that's how I record my gameplay all the time with my capture card. Currently the webcam is selected, but what we're gonna do is actually select our capture card, the Live Gamer Extreme 3. Give that a second to pop up. There it is. There's really no other settings that I need to configure here. It's all good to go. And I'm going to select close, and there it is. But let's go back to our sources now. And next up, I'm going to add my face cam to the mix. So instead of this being an existing source, this is going to be a new source. So I'm going to check that option there. We're going to name this one Facecam, add source. And now we're going to keep the FaceTime HD camera right where it is. Select close. And of course, you can select any webcam of your choice that you have connected to your computer. I'm just using my camera here off of my computer to make it a little bit easy. Now, not all of you guys are using capture cards and you're recording gameplay directly off of your PC. So in that case, you're gonna wanna check out the screen capture source. Within this source, you can capture a specific game that you have on your computer. You can capture your entire screen or whichever monitor that you wanna capture from. You can even select to capture a specific window of your choosing that's on your computer. This is literally a catch-all source for whatever you need to record. And the extra beauty of this source is that when it's added, it'll record the audio directly off of that window or screen or game that you have selected. And yes, macOS users, it works for you as well. The next thing that's a must-have part of your stream is the alert box. So with this selected, you can add this source. You can customize this to your liking for each type of alert. So donations, new subscribers, super chat, all that stuff. If we go over to test widgets and then we go to subscriber, this is where we can see what it currently looks like if somebody subscribes. Now we can modify this a little bit with the layout so it can look like that. You can modify the text template for the alert here, as well as adjusting the font and the font size and the color of that font. The secondary color is going to be the name of the person that just triggered the alert. If you want to modify the GIF that's a part of your alert, instead of sticking with the dinosaur, I mean, the dinosaur is pretty cool, but maybe you want your own custom type of animation, just go to media here, and this is where you can change it. So you can just X that out and select the change the media. And from here, you can either upload your own images, like you can go to sites like Giphy and download your own and throw them in here, or you can select the stock of the different alerts that are being triggered across the entirety of the stream instead of it just being a blanket alert. Different things. Chat box is also a huge one so that people can see their chat right on the video stream. So not just having them look at the chat in the streaming platform, but actually seeing their chat message pop up on screen. Viewers love that stuff, and it's a great source to have a part of your stream. And whenever you add this in, you can actually customize the theme of this. Streamlabs has 5 different ones that you can go with. You can set these messages to always show up on screen, or you can set them to go away. If you do set them to go away, you can set the hide delay. So how long will that message stay up on screen before it fades away? You can set that with this setting here. Below that, you can have the chat delay in case you want a little bit of a delay between when the person sends the message and when it comes up on screen. If you go into the browser settings, this is where you can set the width and the height of that chat box to your liking, as well as any custom CSS that you might have or want to add into it. Some other things people like to add are a viewer count to showcase how many viewers they have on each of the different platforms. One of the newer widgets, Media Share, that Streamlabs has recently implemented is pretty cool, as somebody can donate to showcase a piece of media of their choosing on your stream. I could think of some ways that could go very, very wrong. I think our gameplay scene is looking pretty cool here, but I want to add in some starting soon and ending scenes. So one way to do this is just by adding another scene. We'll call this starting. We'll add another scene, call this ending, and then we can fill this out with different images or graphics, custom text. But what if we use some of Streamlabs' free themes? So I'm gonna go to the left-hand side, select this theme icon, and under Scene Themes, we're gonna go to the search bar here and just type in free. And we can go through the many that might be available here. Once we find something we like, let's just go ahead and select install theme. This will import all of the scenes that apply to this theme as its own scene profile. So don't be alarmed if you don't see the scenes and sources that you've previously made. You'll be able to get back to that, but first you should decide what scenes you want to keep or delete. I just kept the starting and end scenes. Now I'm gonna copy the starting scene source. I'm gonna select this little drop down arrow right here next to quantum, and then I'm gonna go back to my scenes, and this is where we were working on our scenes. I'm gonna go to starting, and then I can just paste this on in. Now I have a starting screen, and now I'm gonna do the same thing for the ending screen as well. To add a transition between these scenes, you can select dashboard homepage to start live streaming to the maximum. Start up your stream by selecting the go live button. Make sure that you have the destination of your choice enabled. You can set a title for your stream. You can set a description. What's the title or the category of the game that you're using? If you're on YouTube, you can add in a custom thumbnail here as well. As for the latency dropdown, have that at ultra low latency. You want the least amount of latency possible. Everything else you can keep default. You can also connect your Twitter if you want to share out that you're live on your Twitter. And from there, select confirm and go live. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please leave a comment down below. Latency possible. Everything else you can keep default. You can also connect your Twitter if you want to share out that you're live on your Twitter. And from there, select confirm and go live. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below.